Hey everyone, welcome to this installment of the Blabby Daddy, where I'm going to talk to you today about the Dallas Cowboys Green Bay Packers playoff game and the no catch issue. We're going to talk about the whole game, especially the no catch or the call reversal. Kind of funny how the game against the Lions there was a controversial call reversal, and now this week versus the Packers there was an even more controversial call reversal. So we're going to go ahead and go straight from the blog that I wrote to make it easy on myself to keep my thoughts organized. So basically, by now you've probably heard about the controversy surrounding the Cowboys and Packers game. Green Bay won 26-21. Green Bay faces Seattle next week for the NFC Championship game, which I don't know if they're going to win that. Maybe we'll talk about that game next week. But going in, I would say the favorite for me is Seattle. Not that I choose Seattle, I just feel like Seattle's the stronger team. Dallas gets to watch from home, thinking about a season that ended in controversy, which I've used that word 3 times already. And you and I are left wondering what if. So if you haven't heard, I'll catch you up on the story right quick. Down 5 points with 4:36 remaining in the fourth quarter, Dallas had a 4th and 2 situation. Should they punt or go for it? Well, if you heard Jason Garrett in his post-game conference after the Lions game, you know you don't lay up at the Masters. Translation for non-golf fans, you go for it. So I wonder why Jason Garrett didn't use a football reference there, why he resorted to a golf reference. But anyway, that is exactly what the Cowboys did. They went for it on 4th down, and Dallas only needed 2 yards. They lined up. Tony Romo heaved a long pass down the sideline to number 88. Dez leapt 10 feet up in the air. He grabbed the ball. He hauled in the ball. Took 2 steps before stretching out to try to put the ball over the goal line. He then rolled over into the end zone on his back, grabbed the ball with 2 hands. And the second that I saw this play, I instantly thought, you know, that's not a touchdown. I'm not thinking, yay, awesome touchdown. I'm thinking, okay, he was down on the half-yard line, and we can punch it in from there. This is great. Still confused why Tony Romo decided to go for it all on 4th down when they only needed 2 yards. But hey, Dez caught the ball, so I was like, who cares? We're going to punch it in on the half-yard line, right? They said they were going to review the catch, and I wasn't surprised. They had to make sure that he was in bounds, and they had the correct spot on the ball. They come back from commercial break to reveal the findings from the review. Gene Steratore, I believe that's how you pronounce it, delivered the decision. Incomplete pass, turnover on downs, Green Bay ball. All Cowboy fans were stunned. All Packer fans were totally elated. After he made this decision, the ref didn't properly adjust the clock back, and 30 seconds roughly disappeared. My jaw dropped, and I was one of the stunned Cowboys fans, but I wasn't angry, and I didn't react physically. I didn't kick anything or throw anything or yell or scream. I just stood there wondering, what the heck did I just witness? And apparently I witnessed something called the Calvin Johnson rule. And I also have a link to a very detailed description of the Calvin Johnson rule and the play. Maybe I'll put a link to that video in the description box below this video. Item 1, player going to the ground. If a player goes to the ground in the act of catching a pass, with or without contact by an opponent, he must maintain control of the ball after he touches the ground, whether in the field of play or the end zone. If he loses control of the ball and the ball touches the ground before he regains control, the pass is incomplete. If he regains control prior to the ball touching the ground, the pass is complete. Anyway, Twitter instantly exploded. Every Cowboy fan in the world saw a catch. Every Green Bay fan and every Dallas hater saw an incomplete pass. And then all the indifferent fans were like, well, that's a dumb rule, but it was used correctly in this instance. In fact, I have a quote from Tony Dungy's Twitter. It says, it's a dumb rule, but that's the way it's been called ever since Calvin Johnson in Chicago. Basically, I know that you can see anything you want depending on your perspective. People can convince themselves of anything. You know, once you start saying something over and over, it becomes reality, even if it is a lie. Okay, here we go. I am, like I said, I'm going by my blog because I want to make sure I didn't miss any points. So anyway, if there's no sense trying to convince anyone who, in their, opposes your view on this play, who see it the opposite way. In their mind, it is what it is. Having said that, I feel it is important to discuss rules briefly. No matter how perfectly worded it may or may not be, each instance that it is applied to is going to be unique. If you try to utilize a one-size-fits-all tool to complete a unique repair, you're going to have imperfect results. This is a discretionary instance for the refs and a subjective issue for the fans. You cannot simply say that it is the Calvin Johnson rule in effect. This was the Dez Bryant play, not Calvin Johnson. The circumstances were completely different. Similar, yes. Identical, no. So to slap a label on it and stamp it done by the officials in the NFL is a travesty. I understand that the officials had to make a decision and the game had to continue on. The fact is there was some reasonable doubt by the coach of the Packers, so he threw the challenge flag. Officiating is a necessary aspect of football. You need the referees in order to play an organized game. But you cannot let them determine the outcome. And this is where I put a little note about the Lions fans saying, "Where were you last week?" Well, I didn't write a blog about last week, and I didn't make a video about last week. These are different circumstances. And what does it say? As far as this is concerned, the refs are not supposed to reverse a call if the evidence is inconclusive. This game had another play which was obvious, had an incomplete pass. It was ruled a catch using instant replay. And it was Randall Cobb was given a catch where the reverse angle you could see the nose of the ball touch the ground. But, you know, they didn't overturn that play. Again, I'm left to say that whatever you want to see is what you'll see. Regardless of wrong or right, people err to the side that they support. When it was all over, I kept telling my wife they only needed 2 yards. But like Jason Garrett's philosophy about laying up the Masters, I guess you have to go big or go home. So that's exactly what they did. They went big, and it ended up sending them home. And I know that one play didn't determine the outcome of this game. I know that Bailey missed a field goal. DeMarco Murray, with nothing but open field in front of him, fumbled again. I believe it was 6 total on the season, and that led to 3 points for the Packers. Green Bay fumbled a kick return, and Dallas couldn't recover it. A gimpy one-legged, although awesome athlete, Aaron Rodgers, by the way, but a gimpy one-legged Aaron Rodgers wasn't pressured enough by the Dallas D. Romo was sacked on back-to-back plays, 1 sack at the end of the 3rd quarter, and then on the very next play to start the 4th quarter, sacked again, forcing a punt. So, you know, to be honest, if they counted Dez's play and the Cowboys had the ball on the half-yard line and punched it in and made it 28-26, there would have been about 4 minutes left. And the way Green Bay was playing with the momentum, I'm pretty sure they would have at least driven down the field, kicked a field goal to end the game at 29-28. But we'll never know, will we? And I said sarcastically, "Thanks a lot, refs. You destroyed a very exciting game with your influence." Yeah, it was a bummer. In my opinion, you know, everyone's saying, oh, you know, especially the haters, they're like, you know, oh, quit your crying, you know, it was incomplete. The Dallas fans are like, no way, that was a completed pass, and we were robbed. But, you know, when it all comes down to it, it was an unfortunate way to turn the tide of a great, exciting game. It was one of the best games I saw all weekend. 3 out of the 4 home teams won, and all 4 of the teams that I was rooting for lost this week, so glad I didn't put any money on it. Anyway, this one has been a little bit longer because I wanted to go into detail and have my thoughts collected. And I want to hear your comments. Again, I'm not being a complete Dallas homer here. I'm just I'm defending the fact that I think that the referees heavily influenced the outcome of the game. And I know, like I said, but it was incomplete. You know, those people are going to be like, you're an idiot. The rules are the rules, you know, whatever. And I just think that there's some interpretation and some leeway. Nothing is black or white. Like I said, a Dallas fan saw a catch and a Dallas hater saw an incomplete pass. And the decision was made. And this is one instance where I feel like the game was tainted by the officiating. You know, you could talk Lions fans all you want about last week. Cowboys defender and the tight end for the Lions were pretty much hand fighting all the way down the field. And Stafford threw the ball and hit the Cowboy defender in the back. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it just, whatever. But again, you saw what you saw, and you believe what you believe, and that's what you're sticking to. So, thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Until next time, Blabby Daddy out.